Hey guys, Lancer here. Hope everyone's doing well. Thanks again for joining me after my really long break of almost 2 weeks, or maybe even more. I think I'll just continue along with market movers for today, and at the very end, I will obviously cover off dual lands and also the spoilers from the new MTG D&D set. So let's get to it and let's see how much we can cover off. So first one's first is Elvish Piper. Obviously, in the last couple of weeks, Elvish Piper has moved up. Nothing significant, but obviously captured in the movement. The ninth edition is nothing too special. There are others, but I think ninth edition is the one that moved up the most. The rest of them are obviously also moving up, so something to keep an eye on. A lot of these movements are because of what was released from the Modern Horizons 2 and D&D Beyond, especially when it comes to these Iron Mears and so on. So Iron Mear is obviously just not. It's a common card, but it is moving up. A lot of these are starting to move up by quite a bit, but you can still get them from TCG for 25 cents. I actually don't know if that's 100% true. Moving on while that opens up. Epic Struggle. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 20 or more creatures, you win the game. This would be amazing in a Squirrel deck because the Squirrel deck does not have many ways to win. Also, lightly played Iron Mir is $3.99. That is insane. I actually don't know if I have any of those, but sure I have some of the Mirs. Anyways. Yeah, so this is a insane card. Sorry, this is a good card. It is a win if you can play it. It does say at the beginning of your upkeep, so you need to have this at least one turn earlier, or flash it in at the end of the turn if you have a way to do that. It is great for Squirrel decks because there aren't that many ways to win, and if you win with this in Squirrel deck, you're probably going to be pretty happy about it. Sulphur Springs, it's been moving up for a while now, so nothing really special. It's now a crazy $13. I also don't know if I have any of these. Mishra's Bauble, a great popper card, spiking again. Woodland Mystic. Now, if I remember correctly, this is only in the. It's in the learn to play decks, the ones where you can get them for free. I myself have got one or two of them, but that's only because I wanted to get someone that I know to play, and I picked up this by accident. I don't think there's anything special about these. They are, like I said, free for people that go into their. They should be free for people that just go and visit their local LGS and decide to pick one up. Stoneforge Mystic. Now, this one I was lucky. I remember at some point I did pick them up after Double Masters, and I might have mentioned it as a pickup. At some point, it obviously spiked up quite a bit after the D&D release. It makes perfect sense. Equipments will be great in D&D MTG formats because D&D has a lot of cool equipments. So, but no one really. I mean, I didn't expect starting from $36 to move up to almost 63. It's pretty much doubled overnight, or at least in the last week and a bit. Sorry that I wasn't here to give that as a warning last week, but yep, it has moved up. So hopefully you guys got yours 2 or 3 weeks earlier. Utopia Sprawls. Now, this one is a weird one. This card I thought was for Pauper, but by the looks of it, Pauper is no longer Pauper. So, good luck to anyone that's actually playing Pauper. Right now, it does say it is a common in Dissension. It has only ever been 25, but it has been printed. I don't know. I feel like it's been printed more than once, but maybe not. This card is insane. $17 for a common. Awakening Zone, it's a pretty good card. It used to be more expensive back in August 2020. It has dropped down, but he's starting to move slowly back up again. Nothing too crazy. Shattering Spree from Guild Pact, 1 red for sorcery. Destroy target artifact, replicate. Pretty good card. It did have a crazy price point at some point. And now it is slowly starting to pick up. It never actually dropped down to a reasonable price for an uncommon, but it's very useful. Parallel Evolution. So it is also spiking up. A lot of it is to do with the D&D Beyond spoilers. I will be interested to see what is actually there to cause such a market mover. Actually, no, I can see it. But at the same time, there are other cards that do something similar to it. That is creepy art book. Lord of Atlantis, this card has always got some kind of following behind it. The spike behind it is obviously going to be the premium one, but it does look like it's all bought out in TCG, so good luck. Bird Maiden from Arabian Nights. This card is not on the reserve list, but the art looks fun, and the price has jumped up by a lot. The card itself is obviously not good, but if you want to buy it just for the art, there is way way cheaper versions of it in 5th and 4th edition. If you're really looking for just the art, you can just buy it in the 5th and 4th edition. So keep an eye out for that. Emery, now most likely Emery is coming out because of Modern Horizons 2 and of course D&D Beyond. It is really starting to take off now. Argothian Enchantress, most likely because of Modern Horizons 2 having some Enchantress support for enchantments. Okay, well that was quite fast, but that was the market movers for today. I am going to have a quick look at the dual lands. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be a bit weird. I'm going to go to the standard, modern, pioneer, and legacy for the MTG Goldfish, and let's have a look at what's been moving there, and then we'll have a look at the dual lands. So Shimmer Dragon was in the Brawl deck. I thought it was an okay card, kind of expensive for an artifact where you pretty much use it as a card draw for artifacts, but with the idea that you can get some very cheap tokens as artifacts, because you can tap food tokens. So, you can pretty much have food tokens, treasure tokens, clue tokens, and you can tap them all for drawing cards without even having to sacrifice them. So this is actually a really good card. And for 6 mana, for a 5/6 hexproof, pretty much it is actually worth it. The problem is that it has jumped up by 43% in the last week. That feels a bit much, but it feels pretty strong either way. Gilded Goose, Witch's Oven, and Cauldron's Familiar. Obviously, these cards are all coming back for sacrifice decks. Probably something in Modern Horizons 2 and or D&D Beyond for them to be moving so much. I will have a look soon. The biggest drops are obviously going to be all of the new cards coming from D&D Beyond, so I don't think they're going to be as useful to keep track of. War on Clerks is moving up by 1%, but yeah, that's not unexpected. Ashes of the Fallen from Kamigawa, or I forgot exactly, it's around that set, Kamigawa or Saviors of Kamigawa. So what does it do that makes it so special? When it comes into play, choose a creature type. Each creature card in your graveyard has this chosen creature type in addition to its other types. Huh. Okay, cool. Yeah, I guess there's a way to make that do something fancy because it is taken off. Valakut, always a good card, especially in a very red-heavy deck, but you can have it in a landfall deck as well if you just go for many ways to turn your lands into basic lands of all types. Urza, oh god, Urza, yeah, he's been moving up as well. Liliana's a bit, and Chalice of the Void. For the weekly winners, Stoneforge Mystic up 30%. Yep, that's crazy. Liliana of the Veil. Now, Liliana did drop down to like 95 just a couple of weeks ago, and way back before, I think I mentioned Modern Horizons, that she was around about 60 or something before she went up to 100. She seems to be in demand again. Sadly, I mean, for no reason would I want to pick up another 3 more. I never thought about playing Modern, but if you did, I hope you already had your set because she might go higher until a new printing comes out. Giraffe's Messenger, $30, moved up from 15% to $30 in 1 week. Yes, I am going to have to figure out what exactly happened with Undying because it looks like there's something to go wrong with that. Ash of the Fallen, it looks like this one spiked up because of a lot of probably manipulation. That's 889% is not usually, that's not normal at all. Glimmer Void, yep, very good land. If you have control of artifacts, sacrifice it, but for an artifact heavy deck, very good. Obviously, Urza is going up with that because of artifact themes. And yeah, most of the rest of them are all lands. Sliver Legion is dropping by 16%. I think all the Sliver decks have lost a bit of interest. Chatterfang has dropped by 42%. Probably a good time to start thinking about picking up a Squirrel Commander deck. I was thinking of making one. I didn't want to buy any of these cards because they were way too expensive for a gimmicky Squirrel deck. But if Chatterfang continues to drop like he is, then that might be worth it. And nothing else crazy for the drops. Moving on to Pioneer. So Pioneer has Final Devastation moving up by 10%. Mostly lands from the... which set is that? That's the artifact. Kaladesh. So lands from Kaladesh are moving up. Yeah, okay. Mox Amber is moving up. That's pretty cool. I have a few, but I don't think I have too many because I don't know what decks they normally go into, but they are pretty cool. And I know that there's another guy on YouTube. I think is it Mox Amber? I don't know. But anyway, has a lot of mock Ambers, so I'm sure he's happy about that. Moving on, Emery already covered. Gilded Goose covered. Emrakul moving up by 3% today, nothing crazy. Ulmo dropping down by 4%, also not much. Biggest drop would be Hellkite Tyrant by 15%, but the winners far outweigh the losers. So last one is Legacy. So as always, manipulation going on, and we will have a look at the dual lands. Yeah, most of the dual lands are being pretty highly sought after still. I don't think there's a big drop, but I am interested to see what happened to the dual lands. I haven't actually looked at this just earlier. So let's have a look. Ooh, it's getting close now. So when $500, so I mean you can get it from TCG for cheaper by the looks of it. But when it gets to a certain point, that's when I'm thinking it'll probably peter out. I will say that it has flatlined from May 20th to June 26th. It's very flat. 329 for heavily played, that's not worth it. For a moderately played, 343, I think that's probably okay. But like I said, it's flatlined, and there's a chance that if it does flatline for a bit longer, that might be the new price point. It usually dips after a bit of interest is lost. But I feel like with everything that's happening around the world, the interest is only going to be lost when the money starts being harder to get. And currently, that's not the case. Underground Sea did have a tap off at $898, $883. And it seems to be mostly just flatlining since around about May 28th as well. So I'm not too sure exactly what happened on May 28th, but we'll have a look. This is one thing I just wanted to throw in here, which is just the dollar index. Now, I know that a lot of people probably don't follow it, don't really care about it. The idea is that for every interaction, there's an opposite interaction. So the way I was thinking is, if the dollar goes higher, then value around the world for any of the quality cards should come down lower. And the only thing I can think about is that on the 20th of May would have been a good time to probably buy the dollar if you were doing any kind of trading. If the dollar does go back to like 100, 100 on the DXY, then there's a chance that there might be a price pullback for certain assets and so on, just because the dollar's worth saving again. You're not going to get interest off it, but there's a chance that you might be able to get things at a lower price, which, is a bargain hunting mentality. So we'll get rid of that for now. And last thing that I wanted to cover before I finished up for the day is to just have a quick look at all of the new cards and just see what makes them really cool and unique. I know that a lot of people have looked at the new dungeon mechanics and think that they're pretty gimmicky. I, for one, agree. But until I play it in real life, I wouldn't know. I think if you played it online, it might feel a lot better, because a lot of that is going to be kept track of by the computer. So we will see. So starting from Evolving Wilds. Yep, that's normal. Dungeon Crawler. 1 black, 2/1 zombie enters the battlefield tapped. Whenever you complete a dungeon, you may return Dungeon Crawler from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty cool. I don't know how often you're going to complete dungeons. We'll have a look at them. Close to Gargoyle. When enter the battlefield, venture into a dungeon. Enter the first room or advance to the next room. As long as you complete a dungeon, gets +3/+0 and has flying. Cool. I like the art. It actually is D&D. I mean, the cool thing is you could use this, I hope, in some ways, for playing D&D, which I like. I like the fact that you can use it for both, but let's see how useful it is. That art is very interesting as well. They just took a picture of the front of their book. Dungeon of the Mad Mage. Joining Portal, you gain 1 life. Dungeon level, scry 1. You can pick between Goblin Bazaar, create a treasure token, Twisted Caverns, target creature you cannot attack until your next turn. Lost level, scry 2. Create 2/1/1 black skeleton creature tokens, scry 3. Draw 3 cards and reveal them. You may cast 1 without paying its mana cost. Sounds cool. I will need to figure out what happens, but I guess every time some card says venture into a dungeon, you can kind of just progress this. So your cards just have a side benefit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 cards need to be played after you play this to get the benefit. Yeah, okay. Create the 4/4 God Horror creature token with Death Touch. Draw a card. They don't seem broken. Like these effects you'll see them coming. Over time, they might feel like slow advantage, but they don't feel broken. Oh, cool. Ellie Wick Tumberstrum is a 4 mana, 4 loyalty planeswalker. Bard, I guess. That's cool. As long as you complete a dungeon, you get double strike. Ventures into a dungeon. Whenever deals combat damage to a player, venture into a dungeon or progress the dungeon. That's pretty cool. Enters the battlefield, +1/+1. Yeah. Okay. More card art. Oh, that's a land. Oh, that's a cool looking land, actually. Okay, I like these lands. They do seem quite interesting. Hideous laughter. That's a spell, isn't it? Hmm. Flump. Okay. Drizzt. Yep, I already covered Drizzt last time. Bruna. Loth. That's good. Vorpal Sword. I covered all of these. Timid. A lot of these are the same. Cool new art for the dungeons. Okay, so I guess there are still going to be spoilers coming out. I will keep tabs on them from next week onwards as well. In the meantime, I'm pretty sure I will try to cover more things in this channel. One of the main things is I think I might just move slightly away from in parallel, I might do some other things like reviewing games, reviewing movies and TV shows, etc. Just because while I do enjoy playing and talking about Magic, the amount that I want to talk about is not the same amount as Wizards of the Coast wants everyone to talk about it. They are spamming out way too much content, and I'm having trouble keeping up with it. Far less do I want to pay for it all either, because that's a good way to not save anything. Let me know what you guys think, and always, hopefully, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks again. See ya.